Hello again. I introduced myself yesterday. My name is Sandy Halperin. I've got Alzheimer's disease, and I'm on the early stage advisory committee here at the National Alzheimer's Association. This is quite an emotional moment for me as I stand before you and I look out. It's something that I just want to take a minute just to take a look at everybody, because I don't need a camera to remember this, but when I get home, I just want to remember this moment of standing before you and all of you advocates here and those that have the disease, just for me to have in my heart. So in the past, I'm a dentist, and I've given many hundreds and hundreds of lectures and presentations, often for hours, and I never needed a note in front of me to deliver a presentation. There's no teleprompter either. That's like a second brain, I guess. But I have notes in front of me, and the only fear I had or trepidation I had in speaking was I've got to read what I'm going to write. But when I was asked to write this by Lean, I sat down with a headphone on my head and I said, well, make believe I'm standing before you. And I wrote down these thoughts that I will read to you. And please understand that I am reading them, but they are coming from me and my heart. And though they're being read, if I didn't have them written down in the couple minutes that I have, I would not remember what I would have to say to you in the next paragraph. That's one of the symptoms of anyone who stood up before that has this disease. I wouldn't remember the next sentence. When we showed the slide with the figures before, I tried to memorize them. I couldn't remember them a minute later. It's a problem that, I look and I see friends who have the disease. So I appreciate this opportunity to be here with the other members of the early stage advisory group to advocate and speak out on behalf of Alzheimer's disease. I am here to share my feelings from my heart to yours. When I began to have serious cognitive problems back in 2008, and to my diagnosis in 2010, to my standing before you right here now, I have been open about my having Alzheimer's with all those who I encounter. I do so without any stigma, embarrassment, or shame. I speak with having Alzheimer's with others as if I were telling them, or I'm telling you now, for example, that I've got a headache, which I don't, or that my back is bothering me, which it's not right now. But I speak about it when I was sitting in a group with friends that I've got Alzheimer's. In many stages of Alzheimer's, just as with other diseases, it can be an invisible disease. You don't see it. And because of it, it can be difficult for a person to explain their symptoms to their family, to their friends, and healthcare providers, the physicians that they're sitting before. It's tough. And perhaps the validation and treatments that may be beneficial, indicated, or needed for them at that time. So I speak with you now with no fears and without hesitation about my having Alzheimer's. But unfortunately, this is not true. Not true. For a huge number of individuals, perhaps millions, particularly around the world, who do not speak about their having a cognitive problem with their family, friends, sometimes even their physicians. And they often do not speak or do not get their medical care for years, when this could be of huge benefit to them. The majority of folks do all that they can do to cover for their cognitive impairment, along with the help of their spouses, significant others, or caregivers. They simply do not tell others about their cognitive problems out of the stigma that they feel, that embarrassment, that shame. My dad, who had Alzheimer's, covered for his illness, and boy did he cover for it, along with my mom for years, who would whisper in his ear. I remember, and I've seen on television other well-known people whispering in the ear of others who may have had Alzheimer's or did have Alzheimer's, and covered for the illness. And this was troublesome for me. I did not want my wife to do this for me. The stigma and the effects of stigma are a two-way street. Even though I share with the world of what I'm going through, and people that I'm looking at right now, they share it as I do, that are on the early stage advisory group, and the others that have Alzheimer's that are here. Family and friends are often afraid or awkward to ask me how I'm feeling. I've got Alzheimer's. It's not my knee, it's not my back. They'd ask me about my neck, if I had a neck problem or a disc problem. And you've experienced this. I mean, they'll call you up, hey, how's your head cold? How's your headache or your migraines? My wife, unfortunately, right now is fighting cancer and is going through chemotherapy. That's why she's not here with me. And she gets calls basically every day. And they're asking how she's feeling with her cancer. And they have no hesitation. How's your chemotherapy? How's your cancer? Well, blah, 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 all the stories. And for me, it should be the same with Alzheimer's. I've got Alzheimer's, but they don't ask me, or nor do they feel comfortable. Called me up and said, Sandy, how are you feeling today with your Alzheimer's? Do you remember what you're doing? Can I help you with that? So as I sit with each member of Congress and Senate, and others do here, obviously, along with many of you, all of you advocates, I will probably ask them to get the true feeling of what it would be like to sit in my chair that's the Alzheimer's chair, not their chair. I mean, in some way I'd like to have them switch chairs with me. Hey, you sit in my chair, let me get in your chair. This is not the time for any legislators, any member of Congress, the Senate, their staff, and this is a quote, and please excuse me, it may not be the exact quote, to turn their heads and pretend that they don't see. This is by Bob Dylan in the song Blowing in the Wind. You know, this senator can't pretend to look the other way and say, oh, I don't see Alzheimer's. Well, it's there. You've seen all the figures and stats. It's nothing that, I've got to repeat here. As I've said to many over this past year, it's sort of become not a joke, a little bit of a rhetoric, because it's the way that I approached my having Alzheimer's, is a proverb that I saw on a coffee mug as I was going through a Whole Foods kind of supermarket. And the mug said, just when the caterpillar thought that the world was over, he became a butterfly. And that really struck me. Obviously, I bought the mug. So, that's a treasure mug. And the person who actually produced this off my script actually found out that I purchased it through someone from the Alzheimer's Association and has been sending me everything else with that proverb on it that they're producing. So you go into my house, you see the butterfly. It's like becoming my symbol. So metaphorically, I see myself as that butterfly. I'm living as a proactive life as I can, as the others with Alzheimer's that are here today are doing and living their life. And while I'm living this proactive life in the present, there's a book written by Dr. Spencer Johnson called The Precious Present. I think he wrote the chicken soup book, so I'm not sure. And he wrote the book, The Precious Present, living each moment in the present. And as I live each moment in the present as best I can in this chapter of my life, and as I'm here with you, and as I go to Capitol Hill, and as I embrace each of you with love and care and compassion, I want to share my feelings with you as I have, and with all of those senators and congresspeople and staff people, and speak from my heart. So from my heart to yours, I love you, and I really appreciate this opportunity to stand before you and deliver this message to you today. Thank you so much.